So in one of my previous videos, I said you're never going to get anywhere if you're chasing somebody else's sound. Well, today I'm going to show you exactly how I don't chase other people's sounds by building my own guitar tone from scratch inside of STL Amp Hub. Also, towards the end of the video, I'm going to be showing you how I use my own actual pedal setup into a plugin to further craft my own tone. So last time I gave you the wake-up call. This time I'm going to show you how I do it. So I wrote a quick little riff. There we go. Now I'm going to show you how exactly I dial my own tone in so you can start crafting yours too. So let's go ahead and jump into Logic and see what we're working with. Yes, I said Logic, not in Reaper, not in Pro Tools, still trying to work out Logic. So this is what I have right now. It's literally just some programmed drums and my DIs. That's what we're working with. This is going to be my tool of choice. I got a bunch of amps in here. Another good one is Line 6 Helix Native. That's another good one that I like. It's just $400, so I refuse to buy it. But this has enough. This is a lot. So here's where I'm going to start. I'm a huge fan of these PV6505. It's just the newer version of the 5150. So let's dial some of this in. That's a pretty decent spot right there. So for the cabinet, I'm going to go for Mesa V30s in it. I'm going to use a 57, and for now I'm just going to put the blend to 100% to this cabinet. I'm going to bring it over here now. Now, when I'm mixing cabinets, I'm not trying to get the same tone from each cabinet. I want to blend something in, so something completely different. I know this orange, I'm going to use a 421 for this one. Now that's a pretty killer guitar tone. I'm gonna get rid of this, and I love these clone pedals. I find you kill the gain and boost the output. That's a pretty good spot right there. I'm just gonna copy this over to the other tone, see how they sound together. Yeah, it's pretty mean. I might do next, bring in the EQ. Those chugs right there, I might tame those a little bit with a little dynamic EQ here. So I cleaned up that high end a little bit and then just tame those chugs. So I think that's a pretty good spot, and then I might just copy that EQ over too. And lastly, something I like to put on my guitars. I was using, I think it was Waves LA3A emulation, but Slate came out with this one, so I'm gonna use Slates now. And that's just going to tame everything, bring it together a little bit. That's a pretty killer tone there. So I have this little lead here. So we're going to go ahead and copy that over. And let's get something completely different. Go dual rectifier. Kill the bass since it's a lead. You don't need bass in there. I'm going to drive this a little bit more though. Let's mess around with some cabs. This is based off of Bogner. right around there. And then instead of bringing reverb in on that, I'm gonna hit this with the EQ real quick. Just killing all that low end that I don't need. I'm gonna use Pro R2 and bring it into stereo mode, so this is gonna give it some width. I don't need that boost in there. This is the EQ inside of this plugin. Alright, and then for this part, when I tracked it, I used my octave pedal, so there's an octave below the original tone as well. So we're going to start by just dragging the plugin over. Now this already sounds pretty good because we made this tone already. I'm going to mess with it a little bit. Get a little fuzz in here, so how this sounds. I think I have to drive this a little harder. Yeah, that's gross. I like that. Now let's bring that over. See how these sound together now. Yeah, that's gross. Alright, so I'm going to show two different ways to dial in this bass tone. I might dial in a tone in the amp, so you can see that. I'm also going to do it a different way. I might patch in my dark glass pedal and then bring it into this plugin. My go-to for this is always this MPEG here. Turn this guy off, and then this is the B3KV1. I have the Microtubes X7 dark glass pedal. So I'm just messing around with some of these controls here, see what I'm getting. I like that middle one the best. Oh god, not that. Get an actual bass cab going. 57. Yeah, see now we need some high end in there. Another way I could do this is try this Mesa again, and then we'll do a ribbon mic. See what this sounds like by itself. So that's bringing some high end into it. So that's sounding pretty good. Then I might throw some EQ on it. They're just like the guitars. I might bring in this LA3A. That's how this works with the guitar tones now. Yeah, that bass really screams during those chugs. One thing I am noticing about these, the nasty guitar tone, needs a little bit more high end. I might tame the low end a little bit too. on taming that low end, I'm trying to get it a little bit more consistent. That's all I'm looking for there. Alright, so that's sitting in a pretty good spot. Now let's go ahead and dive over into my actual dark glass pedal. Alright, so what I did, I'm sending my bass guitar, this bass DI track, out input 5 on my interface, and then back into input 5. And then I just did this latency detection, and then it'll adjust itself. So what that's doing is going over to my dark glass pedal. I'm gonna turn this amp on here, and then I just changed it to a power amp. There's nothing going on in the pedals, same cabinet as before. Let's go over to the dark glass pedal and get a tone going. Now I think that's sounding pretty sick. Let's hear how it sounds in the mix. Needs a little bit of control. What I'm doing here is just a dynamic EQ on the highs, and I just cut some of the lower mids out. And then let's throw this compressor on. And I think that's sitting pretty. Now, another trick that I like to do, show you one more thing. I might duplicate this bass track, and then during this breakdown section here, just bring these tracks down, same tracks. On this, I might call this bass fuzz. Then on this second track, let's get rid of this. I don't want to send it anymore. Let's bring this amp hub back up. And we're gonna bring in a guitar tone, something like, actually, you know what, let's bring this in. And this is going to be an accent tone, so I'm not looking for like a good tone per se. I don't want any low end in it, but what I do want, let's mess with some of these fuzzes. If we could bring some high end in that. Take this guy. Let's just, we can get rid of that. Again, I'm looking for an accent here, so this is going to sound like crap by itself. I wanted to accent the tones here. Since we're getting all fuzzy here, I'm going to add some more fuzz to it, and then it should make this breakdown sound pretty sick. Ooh. If I mute it, and that's it, guys. That's how I go about crafting my own tones. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's kind of just whatever whatever tones you're looking for, go in and craft those rather than going into STL Tone Hub. Although it's great, I still use that, but it's just everybody else's tones. You're never gonna learn, for one, to craft your own tones and develop your own sound if you're just copying everybody else's stuff, or if you're just using everybody else's stuff. Now, you don't need pedals. I got some pedals over there and they're fun and everything. You don't need them. There's enough choices in Amp Hub where you could just work with them and craft your own tones rather than going out and buying these pedals. Some other bass specific plugins that I like, Parallax by Neural DSP, and then the Dark Glass by Neural DSP. Those are both great. As far as guitars go, the STL Will Putney suite, ever since they updated it, that's pretty sick. It's got a bunch of different cab impulses. Now again, it is his tones that he's using, but you can go in there, mess with pedals, mess with the amp settings and stuff, and you can craft something that's not going to sound exactly like Will Putney. It's just kind of in the direction. A lot of these plugins will offer you X amount of days for a free trial. Go in, try them out, see what you like. I didn't chase a preset. I didn't copy Will Putney's chain exactly. I built this tone by actually listening and tweaking until I felt like it was right for my sound. That's how you stand out. If you haven't seen the first video where I kind of just call everybody out, I put it in the thing over here, I think. And if you're ready to level up for real, go ahead and check out the 14-day mixer. It's the exact system I wish I had when I started. 14-day mixer teaches you how to take demo quality mixes and in just 14 days go into a professional sounding mix. The link is below. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.